the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
So, Mr. President, there's a lot of work to get done in this chamber today and for the rest of the week, and Democrats are committed to working with the other side in good faith to get them done. First, we need to fund the government before the December 3rd deadline. On that front, negotiations continue on a bipartisan, bicameral basis, and we're making good progress towards passing a funding measure. When a CR reaches the Senate, Democrats are going to support it and work to pass it as quickly as possible. Our Republican colleagues, meanwhile, can either work with us to move the process quickly through the chamber, or they can engage in obstructive tactics that will make a government shutdown almost a certainty. Sadly, this second option seems to be the path that a few on the other side are choosing, and I hope they see the light quickly and not cause a needless Republican government shutdown. If every member of this chamber used the threat of a shutdown to secure concessions on their own interests, that would lead to chaos for the millions and millions of Americans who rely on a functioning government. So I urge those Republicans who are thinking of poisoning this entire process for their own items to take a step back. There are other arenas and opportunities to have a debate. In the meantime, we have a responsibility to fund the government so it can fulfill its basic duties to serve the American people. And, Mr. President, we have a responsibility to support our troops, support their families, and keep Americans safe by passing our annual defense bill. On that front, we also need bipartisan cooperation. Last night, both parties ran a hotline in order to reach consent on holding floor votes on 21 amendments to the NDAA. This is even more amendments than Chairman Reid and Ranking Member Inhofe offered a few weeks ago. To put this proposal in historical context, in the first year under President Trump, the Senate held votes on 22 amendments on all legislation. Not only that, our latest vote includes votes on the items Senator McConnell said yesterday were, quote, the only reason that Republicans pushed the pause button on this bill. Well, it's time for Republicans to hit the play button. Democrats have been exceedingly reasonable by offering robust amendments with ample input from the other side of the aisle. Again, let me repeat. We have more amendments on the floor that we've offered on this NDAA bill than the total amount of amendments for 4 years under Leader McConnell on the NDAA bill. More here now. People say we're moving too quickly. You know what we did on those bills? We sat on the floor for days without doing anything. We sat on the floor the last few weeks getting nominations through, even as difficult as some others are making it. So to sit on the floor and do nothing, and then only do 3 amendments over 2 weeks didn't make sense. Here we have 19 amendments, 21 amendments that we're willing to do, again, to repeat, more than all the total amendments on the 4 NDAA bills that passed 2016, 2017, 18, 19, and 20 when McConnell was leader and Donald Trump was president. So let us get to voting today. Let the Republicans hit the play button. Democrats have been exceedingly reasonable by offering robust process with ample input from the other side. Democrats want to get this done. I know many on the other side want to get this done as well. That's good, and we'll keep working until we have a deal to move forward. Now on Dale Ho. Mr. President, earlier today I had the honor to come before the Senate Judiciary Committee to introduce a remarkable candidate to sit on the federal bench, Dale Ho, who I proudly recommended to President Biden as a nominee to the District Court of the Southern District of New York. Mr. Ho is a graduate of Princeton, Yale Law School, clerked for 2 judges, including the same district court for which he's now been nominated. But it's his experience at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and at the ACLU, where he currently serves as Director of Voting Rights, where Mr. Ho has set himself apart as one of the best election and voting rights lawyers in America. He has argued 2 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. In one, he challenged the exclusion of undocumented immigrants from the population count used to apportion the House of Representatives. In the other, which made the front pages of most newspapers in America, he successfully challenged the inclusion of a citizenship question on the 2020 census. And beyond his cases before the Supreme Court, he also led successful challenge of a Kansas law requiring people to show a birth certificate or passport when registering to vote. As voting rights come under assault across the country, it is only fitting that we elevate one of the country's top voting rights experts to sit on the bench to safeguard our democracy and preserve our most fundamental right as U.S. citizens. Voting rights is in jeopardy. There could be no finer person on the bench than Dale Ho, one of the great experts in America at both understanding and litigating voting rights for the people. If confirmed, I have no doubt he will make an excellent federal judge, and I'm proud to support his nomination. Now on a different matter. This evening, it will be my honor to join the President, Vice President, First Lady, and especially our second gentleman for the annual White House Menorah lighting ceremony. This year, Hanukkah comes at a poignant moment, not just for our country, but for myself as well. I will be proud to participate at the White House as the first Jewish majority leader in history. I will join bearing in mind the passing of my wonderful father. And across America, we observe Hanukkah year after year, and year after a year and a half, marked by loss and then renewal. The season's a reminder that in the face of awful adversity, we cannot lose faith in God's providence. In the face of darkness, Hanukkah teaches that rather than curse the darkness, we must light a candle. In the story of Hanukkah, the Maccabees triumphed after facing enormous adversity. This year, we take heart from the lesson of that story. We too shall triumph over the challenges our country faces today. So as we observe the fourth night of Hanukkah, I want to wish my colleagues and the American people a happy Hanukkah, and I look forward to joining the White House for tonight's candle lighting event. Yield the floor. Note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.